Praise the Lord and welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something really intensely personal. We've all been there, right? You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, absolutely dreading an unavoidable confrontation with someone you know you've deeply wronged. I mean, think about a time you had to finally make an apology you'd been putting off for, what, a decade? Or maybe a mistake so massive you literally packed up and moved away just to escape it. Well, that heavy, sinking feeling in your gut, yeah, that's exactly where our story begins today. So how do you face a past you just can't outrun anymore? Imagine the visceral panic welling up in your chest as you prepare to meet an estranged sibling you haven't spoken to in years. The air is thick, your heart is just pounding out of your chest, and honestly, the absolute worst part? You know the broken dynamic is 100% your fault. You manipulated them, you stole from them, and then you ran. So what do? How do you stand your ground when literally every fiber of your being is screaming at you to flee? Well, let's look at exactly how this plays out in the historical account of Genesis chapter 32. We're looking at a man named Jacob. Now, years ago, Jacob actually stole his older brother Esau's blessing and birthright. He basically robbed him of his future and his inheritance, and then, naturally, he fled for his life. Fast forward, and decades have passed. Jacob is finally returning to his homeland, and he gets the worst possible news. His brother Esau is coming to meet him. The reunion he's dreaded for his entire adult life is happening, ready or not. And the messenger doesn't just say Esau is coming. He drops a terrifying number, 400. Esau is bringing 400 men. The sheer terror this number represents is just staggering. It immediately isolates Jacob in his impending doom. I mean, 400 men isn't a welcoming committee, right? In the ancient world, that's a small army. Jacob is instantly paralyzed with fear. He's just a guy with flocks, herds, and a large family, and he's about to go toe-to-toe with a man leading a militia. Operating purely out of great fear and distress, Jacob does what, honestly, any of us might do when we're absolutely terrified. He calculates. He divides his people, his flocks, and his herds right down the middle into two groups. It's such a fascinating psychological response. Think of it like modern risk management. It's exactly like diversifying a stock portfolio right before an imminent market crash, so you don't lose absolutely everything. He figures, hey, if Esau attacks one group, maybe the other can escape. He is quite literally hedging his bets with human lives because his fear is just that overwhelming. But strategy alone isn't enough to calm a guilty conscience. Stripped of his usual confidence and his cunning tricks, Jacob prays an incredibly honest prayer. He drops the act. He doesn't pretend to be brave at all. He openly admits his raw terror for his family's safety. He clings to God's past promises of prosperity, but at the exact same time, he fully admits his own unworthiness. It's this beautifully raw moment where a master manipulator just throws his hands up and says, I am terrified, please save me. But old habits die hard, don't they? This next part brilliantly illustrates our human tendency to try and just buy our way out of trouble. Right after praying, Jacob goes straight back to scheming. He constructs what has to be the ultimate, desperate, I'm sorry gift basket to pacify his brother's rage. We're talking over 550 animals. He sends them ahead in waves, telling his servants to leave space between the herds. It's a psychological tactic to slowly chip away at Esau's anger. It's a relentless barrage of wealth, just hoping that by the time Esau actually lays eyes on Jacob, he'll be way too bought off to be angry anymore. After sending everything and everyone he loves across the Jabbok stream for safety, Jacob is left completely alone. And this brings us to the real crux of the story. It's like those universal 3 a.m. moments where the house is perfectly quiet, all the distractions are gone, and you just have to wrestle with your own guilt, your own past, and your identity in the dark. Because the hard truth is, you can't send a gift basket to fix the darkness inside you. In his completely vulnerable isolation, the text tells us something totally shocking happens. A man suddenly appears and violently wrestles with Jacob all night long, right up until the sun begins to break. And to be clear, this isn't a metaphor. It is a grueling physical struggle. When the man sees he can't easily overpower Jacob, he touches the socket of Jacob's hip, literally wrenching it out of joint. It's a really profound moment, showing us that facing our deepest fears and our past wrongs takes a devastating physical and emotional toll. Crippled, in total agony, and entirely desperate, Jacob reaches his absolute turning point. Instead of doing what he's done his entire life, which is running away, he clings to his opponent. He says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. He absolutely refuses to run from the pain any longer. He finally realizes that the only way to get through this dark night of the soul is to hold on, face the conflict head on, and demand the growth that comes from it. This encounter builds a massive shift in his character. To really grasp the gravity of this moment, think back to how Jacob started this journey. Early in chapter 32, he named a place Mahanaim, which translates to two camps. And that name perfectly reflected his mindset at the time, divided, split down the middle, operating purely on fear-based survival tactics and risk management. He was a man living a double life, always keeping one foot out the door just in case things went bad. But because he finally stood his ground in the dark, everything changes. The man asks Jacob his name, which forces him to verbally admit who he really is, the deceiver. Then he changes Jacob's name to Israel, which means he struggles with God. His identity is fundamentally forged anew. He is no longer the guy who sneaks around and runs away. He's now the man who actually has the courage to face divine conflict, wrestle with God and humans, and overcome. Completely overwhelmed by what just happened, Jacob then names the site of this brutal, life-altering encounter Peniel, which means face of God. He realizes in utter awe that he wasn't just wrestling a man, he was wrestling with God himself. He saw God face to face, and somehow his life was miraculously spared. The place of his greatest pain and struggle actually became the place of his greatest revelation. As the sun finally rises over Peniel, Jacob isn't the same. He walks forward to meet his brother, but now he has a permanent limp. His hip was wrenched. This is such a beautiful, striking image. It's a physical, everyday reminder that surviving our past, facing our fears, and experiencing true personal growth will almost always leave a mark. We don't just walk away unscathed from the hardest battles of our lives, but you know what? That limp is a badge of honor. It means you finally stopped running. So what does this actually mean for us today? When you're mending your own broken relationships, you can apply Jacob's journey by taking these 3 actionable steps. Step 1, strategize and pray. It's totally okay to prepare and manage risk, but you have to couple it with intense, honest vulnerability. Step 2, wrestle with the hard truths. When that 3 a.m. isolation hits, don't just pick up your phone to distract yourself. Face your guilt, face your role in the conflict, and hold on until you learn from it. And step 3, embrace the limp. Accept that hard-fought personal growth will change you permanently. And honestly, that's exactly how it should be. Which brings us to our final thought. Take a look at your own life, your own estranged relationships, and your own past mistakes. Who is the Esau you need to face today? What confrontation have you been running from? And what might happen if you finally stood your ground and wrestled through the night? As you reflect on the dreaded confrontations in your own life and how you might finally stop running, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue unraveling these profound narratives together.